Celebrity breakups have nothing on this. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Well, the big news in Canadian politics this week is the Justin Trudeau-Jagmeet Singh breakup. And no, I didn't misspeak there. Those are his words. Let's take a look.
Why pull out of this deal now? What was the breaking point? And, as they say, timing is everything.
Well, it's something we've been thinking about since the beginning. We always knew there would be a moment where we would break up, where we'd pull out of this agreement. We got a lot done. We got the dental care, pharmacare, really important laws around protecting workers, like the anti-scab legislation. So we got things done. And it became really clear to me that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals were too closely connected to corporate interests, too beholden to corporate interest to take on some of the big challenges of the day. The high price of groceries, the high price of rent that are being driven up by corporate greeds.
Curious choice of words, I'd say. Putting that aside, what does all that mean? Let's have a look at what Jagmeet Singh had to say in an interview with Vasi on Power Play.
Mr. Singh, in your video yesterday and in the comments you made today, you called the Liberals and the government more specifically weak and selfish. You said they've let Canadians down, they've abandoned Canadians, and that they have led to endless disappointment for Canadians. How can you ever support them going forward after saying that?
Well, we've torn up the agreement with Justin Trudeau. I've torn that up. And I know that means election is more likely than before. And it was really clear to me, there's mounting evidence that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals were just too weak to take on corporate greed. They were too beholden to corporate interests to stop big corporate grocery stores and corporate landlords from ripping people off. And frankly, they're too weak to stand up to the real threat of Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre, who are putting to Canadians the choice for the next elections between New Democrats who are going to give people hope or Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives who want to cut.
I have to also ask you, Mr. Singh, why now? And in particular, I've done so many interviews with you. I'm sure you're sick of them, where I ask you the question, like, this is the way in which you're describing the government. Why are you still keeping them in power? I don't understand what changed, saliently over the last number of days or weeks that led you to make this decision now versus, let's say, 6 months ago. You point to corporate greed, for example, particularly in the grocery sector. Food prices were at their highest over a year ago, and the government wasn't doing much even then. Why didn't that force you to make this decision? Is this more about really polling and your electoral chances, and some would accuse in the Conservatives your pension?
Not at all. First of all, let's put that to rest. That's a lie by being propagated by Pierre Poilievre, who's, I think, got his full pension when he was like 31, so I don't know. But when it comes to decision, we always knew that at some point we would have to make this decision, that we weren't going to stay in this forever, and we would make that decision based on a whole host of factors.
But again, with great respect, all of the stuff that you lay out, we have been talking about, you and I, you and other politicians. There has been accountability directed at the government and questions about why they aren't doing more on those issues that you talk about affordability, about grocery prices, about corporate interests for over a year. Like, it was particularly difficult for Canadians. I mean, inflation has edged down, but prices are up 20% over the last 3 years, and they were super high a year ago. My question isn't hypothetical. You are raising the idea that the CN Rail dispute and their handling of it really was it a turning point? Like, again, I'm not clear why this wasn't a decision you didn't make earlier, unless now you see that your personal interest is better served and you didn't before.
Well, like I mentioned, we got work done. We got things done, things completed. We wanted to make sure dental care was completed. To at least the second phase include seniors, and a lot of that program was done over the summer. So.
I guess I would just point out that both pharmacare and dental care are not completed. But the argument you're making to Canadians is essentially you stayed in it as long as you did to get things done. So if those things aren't done, why aren't you continuing to stay in it unless there's some kind of political interest in it for you to move to a different position, which is what the Liberals essentially are accusing you of. They say blatantly, Karina Gold on this program last night, you put your own interests ahead of Canadians. Can I ask you to clarify on the question of the pension, because it is an argument that the Conservatives are continually using. Are you eligible for a pension in February because of when you were elected in the by-election, and has that factored into your decision-making in all of this, or will it factor into your decision-making in perhaps prompting an election? Can I just get you on the record on that?
Not at all. It's a ludicrous suggestion. I'm obviously going to get reelected in my riding. I'm not worried about that at all. This is a silly argument.
One final question for you, for Canadians watching right now, Mr. Singh. The Prime Minister keeps getting questions about whether he should remain as leader because of where public opinion polling for his party sits. At the same time, while the Liberals have had, dwindling, to say the least, political fortunes, your party has not been able to capitalize on that at all. Your polls have remained fairly stagnant for the last 3 years. Should people be asking you if you should remain on as the NDP's leader? Are you asking yourself that? And how much responsibility do you bear for the lack of success for your party?
I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm running to be Prime Minister of this country, and I'll be leading the party to the next election, absolutely.
As you can see, he's hinting that he may cause an election to be called. But will he really? I don't think so. This is all political theater. The agreement was political theater, and the breakup was political theater as well. His poll numbers are terrible. They're even worse than Justin Trudeau's. And even though he believes that his Burnaby seat is safe, there's no guarantee of that either. I believe that this is a prelude to him calling an election, but not until February, when his pension is secure. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see an election sooner than later. In fact, I'd like to see a non-confidence vote at the earliest possible time after the House resumes later this month. But my take on this is he just wants to keep his face in front of the cameras. He wants to make it seem like he's a serious player on the political scene, and he wants to keep pressure on Justin Trudeau by holding a non-confidence motion over his head. But that's just my opinion. I'd like to know what you think. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share it with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Oh, and I do have a lot of information in the description or show notes of this video. Please check it out. It has links to all of my social media, including a link to my website where you can sign up for the Canadian Firearm Safety course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.